What up, everybody?
What's going on?
Man,
Yes, dude.
let's get it.
All right, man.
So first
Before
things
we go-
first.
Bro, before we get anything else, heard this the other day, and I've got to ask you, man. With all this stuff going on, and I know you have daughters, why is there no pregnant Barbie doll?
Well, I don't know, dude.
Because Ken came in the wrong box.
There you go, bro.
All right, bro. That's it. That's all I have, bro.
All right. Anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I couldn't help it, man. I couldn't help it.
All
Low
right.
hanging fruit today, bro.
Okay, so what time is the game tomorrow? Let's talk about that.
What's up, Jared? All right. The game. I have it pulled up right here.
Don. What's up, buddy? You want to say hi? Come on, come say hi. Baby
Hey.
shark,
Hey, Mark. How are you? What are you up to, buddy? Are you being good?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
You have bedhead. Your hair is crazy.
Yeah, I have crazy hair too. Yeah.
We're talking about the Thunder.
All right.
Thunder.
So we have Canada versus France at 9:30 Eastern tomorrow. So we'll be
9:30.
That's 8:30 Central.
8:30 for me. So everybody who wants to join us to watch SGA and Dort get after it. Let's be there. We're gonna be live calling the game, hanging out. Get your stream set up. Get your call-in set up. Dress rehearsal for the season, but obviously on its own merits, it's going to be a really exciting time. Like we said, 8:30 Central if you're in Oklahoma, 9:30 Eastern. Somebody from Australia, I forget who, but told us that it's going to be anywhere from 4:30 to 6:30 Australian time. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Because that's prime time, baby.
And then you also have got a couple other games I'm excited about. Australia versus Germany. I'm definitely going to be up for that one. I know it's going to be waking up really early in the morning, but there's certain games that You're
saying that you wanted to do that, though. And I was thinking if I went to bed early enough, I could get up at 3:30 to pull it off.
I mean, if you can't pull it off, that's okay. Because I know we have a lot of guys out there that will listen that are from Australia that will get on the call-in show and hang out. So
yeah, make sure Dave doesn't hang out alone if I'm not there, guys. Call in for him.
So that will be Sunday, Germany versus Australia. That's the game that, in my opinion, is the game of the tournament, of the knockout round. So the first round. That's the game that everybody should be circling and saying, yeah, I need to watch that. Whether it's a rerun, whether it's whatever, that's the one to be watching.
I agree, man. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this. We don't know a lot about FIBA. We do know a lot about NBA players. So, these teams are loaded with NBA talent. But outside of that, when you get into some of these teams that are really good FIBA teams, but they don't have a lot of NBA players, you're going to have to teach us. Everybody out there who's been paying attention over the last decade, 2-3 decades to FIBA ball.
Sure.
Like, Dave and I are new to this. Last time we really paid attention to FIBA was, for me, 2010. That Russ, KD, I think Derrick Rose maybe was on that team, and who else? Steph, Kevin Love. Damn, that was a fun team for the U.S.
But it was, man, and I think that, hearing a little bit more Grant Hill and Steve Kerr talk about the selection and how they selected this team. I mean, it makes sense. It does, of the way they decided to build the team for them. But I look back at when this team was built in that 2000, really it was the 2009, the end of 2009, that team started being built.
Right.
And you start seeing how that was built, and you had all these young players. And even people are like, well, Kevin Love's not the player that he was younger. You're right. But when he was younger, he was the man. And there was a time that I wanted Kevin Love on this Oklahoma City Thunder team. I would have done anything to get him just because the Russ and Kevin Love connection. But man, that 2010 team, that was exciting, man. Wasn't Derrick Rose on that team too?
I think he might have been. It was so young. So entertaining.
Crazy,
it was a new group of players who were clearly about to take over the NBA. Maybe Harden was out there too. It was just like,
yeah, James was definitely out there.
You felt like it was something special.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically Russ and KD, they showed that they were some of the best players in the whole world during that tournament, not just the best on their teams. We knew that about KD, but Coach K, the way he coached Russ was just kind of like, he was like a dynamo. He's just like, get out there and, put pressure on the rim relentlessly, and Russ did it like beautifully. So what a special memory. But now we look at it and we're like, we're cheering for different teams from different countries. In a big way, it represents a transition from basketball being, I don't know, it's been happening for, I don't know, since probably in a big way since 92, Barcelona, dream team. But, we're seeing this international takeover. You look at the players who've won MVP the last few years, they're international. You look at the players that are all NBA every year, they're international. It's a huge thing, but also being at the center of the storm with the Thunder,
sure,
we're cheering for some of the best teams in the world. And like, honestly, I'm not even going to watch Team USA unless they face off against Canada or Australia.
Yeah. Man, I got excited. Too Cool and I were having conversation in the comments, and I got starting to think about everything that's happening and the direction of this team, and it got me thinking, like, next year we could have 9 players representing countries. That's 70% of our team. That's crazy, man. Like, that's not including if like Isaiah Joe goes off and has a crazy season and they decide to put him on the USA team, or another player like that goes off and gets there. Because I think Ousmane Dieng could be on the French team next year. Josh Giddey, Jack White, Mistish and Poku, right? Chet and J-Dub. I mean, like, we can go down the list. Like, there's so many guys that we have on this team that could be representing.
Where are the Olympics?
France, right?
Somebody tell us.
Paris.
Are they?
I thought that's what I.
All right.
This is so bad, dude. 2020.
I mean, it's going to be exciting. I'm really pumped. I'm really pumped about the Olympics. Obviously, we're looking at one thing at a time. So FIBA's coming up, but I was talking to my kids about it, and they're like, "Where are the Olympics?" And I didn't know. So, I'm excited, dude. I think it's going to be really, really. Hey, George, the call-in, Dave. We need to give a fresh call-in info because I think the one that you gave me was a little bit different. So,
all right. So let me go ahead and
I think we need a fresh call.
Figure that out there. Yeah, it's in France this year, by the way.
So that's exciting, man. I think we're gonna be watching 2 years of international basketball back to back because of they crunched it together. Summer's gonna be busy. So okay, yeah. So the Philippines for the FIBA, Mwani, that's right. But I'm pumped. I'm pumped, bro.
I'm excited too. This is kind of like where this team needs to be at, though. Is like the fact is that when you're having this many, I mean, right now we have only a couple guys that representing, right?
Right.
But the majority of these guys are going to be starting to represent in the near future. So, all right, here comes George, guys.
What's up, George?
All right, George.
What up? What up?
What's nice to meet you, George.
All right.
Yeah. Finally caught me on my day off.
Sweet, man.
Hell yes.
All right.
Nice shirt,
so
man.
Are you going to be watching any of this FIBA coming up?
Dude, I'm excited about FIBA.
All right, man. What's what team is the most exciting for you?
Yeah, I'm going to be watching a lot. I get up at 4:00 every morning, so.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah,
dude.
you mentioned that in the chat the other day. I was like, "Damn, dude, that's dedication right there, man. You grab life by the balls."
Do you have do you get up for any particular reason that early? Work? What?
So I'm going to be watching a lot of Australia.
Okay.
Yeah. Very cool. Me too, man. I think the way Giddey's taking over Team Australia and they're kind of handing him the reins for the future is pretty exciting. I think he's going to take his NBA game to the next level based on this experience. So I'm with you. It's like with Shea, obviously he's the man, but we already know he's the man. But we're learning more about Giddey's game every game.
Dude, Giddey and Jack White look really, really good together. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack White actually beats out somebody like our Trey Mann or something like that off our roster.
I've been talking
He looks
about
good.
Jack White for a long time. The way that his ability is to not just attack the hole, but to know when to get to the hole. And that's when somebody else is taking a shot, the offensive rebounding, his motor, man, that's the thing that gets me, is that you don't see a guy his size with the motor that he's got very often. And I really hope, I mean, we know that Jay Will and JRE and Poku, they're in that big man core group right there. But I've been saying for a while, you got to watch out for Jack. I mean, Jack is going to, steal someone's position really quickly if they're not careful.
His game, people say a lot of dunks, a lot of threes. But one thing I've been noticing is like he reminds me a lot of like K-Rich, Kenny Hustle. Like that commitment to all out basketball, and you can't have too many of those guys.
You can't.
You got a Swiss Army knife in that, and when you got Andrew Wiggins, and you got Jack White, and then you got K-Rich, and then you got all the other Swiss Army knives that we got, makes it complete positionless basketball, and it's just a nightmare for other teams.
Yeah. And you got Chet who can run point guard. This is the structure of the team, and the way that it was thought through by Sam Presti is to me one of the most impressive jobs done by any GM ever. I mean, and this team is still so young, so it's really hard to know exactly what this team's going to peak like, and that's exciting to me.
And then you're going to see
get
Dort
down the court. Go ahead.
And then you're going to see Dort, because Dort's going to be amazing from the corners this year, because all he's going to have is open shots from the corners. Everybody's going to be driving to the hoop, passing up the ball. He's going to be standing stationary because he's the one guy that people think they can leave open, and he's just going to drill it every time.
I agree. That corner shot looks great.
You think Dort can average 18 a game this year?
Yeah, I think he's actually going to get more assists too. I think he's going to be more of a 15 5-on-5 guy with the steals and assists, just because he's got room to play with now, because everybody else is going to be manned up.
Man, if he did that and he consistently passed the ball as he attacked the hole, his lane would get empty. And he could be way more effective at that rim too. So man, if he did 15-5, and man, that would be sick. All right, here's Jared. He's going to join us here.
But he better, because I'm telling you, Cason Wallace is going to be really good.
Oh yeah.
You got to watch out for his game, because he can shoot. What's up? He can shoot 35-40% coming in the league right away and only get better. That's my opinion about Cason's shot. I mean, it's one of the best shots I've seen entering the NBA in a long time. Like, it's pure.
I agree.
Well, I think the scary part is we're going to play 12 men deep.
Yeah, every night. And then it's who that 12 guys will be will pop in and out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And George, you're looking at the 12 man deep, but like I challenge, like, where's that line from 12 to 15 though? It's going to be
injuries
thin,
are going to play a factor in that, because I think Poku's going to be just beastly after he comes back and he's stronger.
Yeah.
I don't think JRE is going to make the cut whatsoever. He's not even going to be with us. So
you don't think
Poku and Jay Will just locking up that second unit. You got Isaiah Joe that's going to be playing. You got Lindy Waters on the two-way contract with Isaiah Sarr. And, they're going to be filling spot minutes when people are hurt and playing the G League. It's scary to think exactly how deep we are right now.
I agree. And I think that as time goes on and we get more of a structure of what this team is going to be like, we'll find out exactly how deep this team is. But I mean, even with the last three guys on our bench, the quote unquote last three guys on our bench, and then the the two-way guys, like those guys, to me, like that's where the money's at. Like it's those six guys right there that are going to make or break this team when it comes down to getting 50 plus wins. Because if those guys, those six guys, they can, move in and out of that lineup as guys get injured, as guys go out, as guys get rest, and they put up some great numbers, this team will look way, way more efficient. So, what's up, Jared?
Jared's back.
What's up?
All right.
I'm excited. I'm thinking about what you're saying, George. I'm thinking about what you're saying, Dave, kind of combining it. And yeah, I mean, I think if we can run 12 deep, and depending on who's injured, who's ready to go, and all that, like that could be the difference maker. Like, and that's something that no pundit is talking about. You know what I mean, Jared? Like, nobody's sitting there being like, "Oh, this team is 15 deep and they can withstand a few injuries," because in the past we haven't been able to be that way.
Yeah.
Nah, nobody is. And it's a shame, too, because they just don't see the depth.
Yeah.
And
we're talking
we're
about
okay with that, though.
And Isaiah Joe, as well as Isaiah Sarr, all started games for us last year that we won.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're right.
When I went back and I watched some of the games or highlights from games early in the season and mid December, I'm like, I can't remember that starting lineup actually starting. Like, it's so hard to actually remember it. I'm like,
how long did the Aaron Wiggins thing go for?
I think that was like 11 games he won in a row, 9 or 11 games where he started and we won. It was fun.
14.
It was a nice run. 14. George got
14?
it.
Wow.
You know, and I mean, that's the thing, though, is that like Coach did it when we needed it. Didn't overuse it.
And what did he say? Coach was like, if I was Aaron, I'd bring that up all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Coach, start me.
Dude, seriously, Coach D, though, the way that he has those guys, like I go back to this a lot. Coach D's first year coaching, right? He's got the guys, and Darius Baisley, right, doesn't understand the play that Coach D called. It just doesn't understand what Coach D is trying to do. So Coach D calls timeout and gets in Baisley's face. Like, you need to listen to me. And you can see him just like the mouth, like, you need to listen to me. And Baisley just snaps back and gets right in his face, right? And like, you could see this moment, right? And you're like, holy cow, what's Coach going to do? You know, because like, here's this kid that just challenged him as the coach. And you know what he did? He ignored him and went to the next situation because he knew that there was nothing that could be done at that very moment. He didn't bench him. He didn't do anything else like that. He knew that there was the teaching moment wasn't there, and there was no reason to sit there and try to teach him. And I sat there and I'm like, man, as a 30-year-old man, like, could I have done that with anybody? And like, nope, now's not the time. I got to move on. I'll talk to you at practice. You know, and it was this maturity by Coach D that I just sat there and watched. I was like, holy cow. Like, here he is in a way like a disciple of these young men saying, this is the way you need to live your life. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to do everything. And everybody's watching him because he's doing the same thing. And he's making sure these young men understand that leading and or following and leading are go hand in hand. You know, Shea was a follower before he became a leader, you know, and you can go through every single one of these guys. And that's why I have a hard time when, you know, we say stuff, and I've said it like multiple times on the show that JRE won't make this team next year because JRE is one of the leaders on the team.
Yeah.
You know, and like if you've outgrown a leader on your team, I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, that is amazing because as time goes on, you're like, okay, well, JRE is great. He called every single rookie we had and welcomed him into the league. But now there's a time that we don't need him right now. So somebody else has got to step up.
So,
you know, and it's
Baisley was a leader too, though.
There you go.
He was.
And yeah, he was one of the original guys back, you know, going back to the Chris Paul team. But my question about JRE, right? I know you guys probably remember, like, his rookie year, he played really well. Like, the first half of his rookie year, he played it great. The second half, he played a different style, shot more threes, played more perimeter orientated. And then the injury kind of threw him off, and he hasn't really been able to, like, reclaim that. Do you think...
He seems to have lost confidence.
Yeah, confidence, but also, like his decision-making kind of regressed. So is that what you're kind of seeing, George, when you said you think maybe he's not going to stick around?
Well, they drafted J. Will to be the competition for JRE because they're identical. And then J. Will blew him out of the water, not just with his playing, but with his maturity, his understanding of the game, his IQ. You know, he could do everything on the floor that JRE can do, only 10 times better. So he kind of just replaced him, and JRE lost his spot, his confidence, he got hurt, and now he doesn't even have a spot to go back to.
Well, I love the guy, you know.
I know.
So we always get emotionally attached to it, but as a player, I think you're pointing to some really logical stuff. Even though
I don't want to see JRE go. I don't. But you said it the best, and I mean, when a player gets outplayed by another player in the system, you can't hold on to that old player. I'm sorry, you can't. You've got to move on. You got to move on quickly, because if you don't and you hold on to these players, then all of a sudden your team is full of these guys that you've fallen in love with, rather than putting what the team needs first.
Right.
You know, like I'm sorry, JRE versus Jack White. I'm picking Jack White every single time, and that's no disrespect to JRE. It's just because Jack White fulfills our needs way more than JRE at that position, because we have J Will, like George said.
So
what up, Joey?
the older,
Go ahead, Jared.
like the older iteration of the Thunder, do you think we held
Yeah.
on to Nick Collison?
Yeah.
Like for that reason, and maybe that kind of could have hemorrhaged us then.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I liked about the NBA, what they did was they passed a law that we were allowed to pay our veteran, if he was in the league for 10 years on our team, same team, a $10 million a year bonus without costing anything extra to the organization. So if you looked at his, okay, so there was this thing that they were trying to get guys to want to stay in the same team. All right, so it was right around Collison. He had spent 11 years or 10 years of the team, and then they gave him this bonus. Sam Presti gave him the bonus of $10 million, and it was like you stayed on the same team. So everybody looked at his contract, it's like, oh, he's getting overpaid. Well, sure, but what he did and what he brought to the team was unparalleled at that time. And if you look at the idea of if all we had was JRE on this team that was a leader like that, then I would say we got to keep him. But you look at these other players, you look at K-Rich, you look at Keontae. I think he's amazing. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be taking some time up there. I think you've got guys like that are quiet leaders like Isaiah Joe and Jay Will. Like, this team is designed on so many levels to have leaders. And we've talked about it before is, if you have a guy that's a partier on your team, right? And then you have a guy that's going to cost you $1 million a year to keep from anybody else that's going to party, but the thing is this team is full of those guys that aren't willing to party. They're not willing to go out. They're not willing to take this time and say, oh, well, I'm going to go have blank and blank and blank, and then I'm going to be out for 3 weeks because I'm going to let my body, heal. Like, that's not what this team is doing. Like, this team is so focused on making sure that every single action and every single thing that they do is going to benefit in the games, and it benefit practice, benefit game time, benefit life outside of practice. And that's what's so impressive about this. Like, we could have picked some players that are truly spectacular on this team. But if you look at why Sam Presti didn't pick them, and then everybody's starting to realize that high character matters. Professional habits matter. Like, think about it. Shea, Josh Giddey, Dort. I mean, these guys, J-Dub, Chet, these guys are working thousands of hours off season just to get to that point where they can be better for next year. How many guys are doing that in the league still?
Well, you know what else is special? Presti stayed in-house. So Eric Maynard came over, right? He was part of the Westbrook thing and, Katie and Ibaka and all that.
Yep.
He's an assistant coach on the bench now. Andre Roberson is a defensive coordinator with the Blue and playing with them. He played with them last year and the last 2 seasons before that. So keeping everything in-house. And that leads me to think that Dort's going to be the next Collison.
Nice.
I like that. I mean, if Dort was next Collison, I feel like $20 million a year for him would be, equivalent. I like that, dude. Dort is the heart of the team. I really hope that as things transition, and I do believe that Dort's starting job will be challenged in the next 18 months. And I'm really interested to see how he's going to be able to pull himself out of that, because if he pulls himself out of that and gets better this season, and he makes it a thing where he's not going to give up his starting position, and he puts a stamp of approval on the season, then we're sitting in a position where, our starting lineup is set for the next 5-6 years. And that's just crazy in my mind.
Yeah, which makes me think that Trey Mann is completely expendable.
I've been coming to that conclusion too.
Yeah. With Mischic?
While Dort could maybe fill that Collison lane, right? I think the size of his contract is pretty big for that role. And my question is there a chance, because I keep saying this a lot, so I like it when people tell me I'm wrong, but do you think there's a chance that Case and Wallace could outplay Dort and make it so Dort is expendable?
I wouldn't say expendable, though. Maybe expendable in the starting role, but not expendable in the locker room. That's where the Collison thing comes in, because Dort, his ability to teach all those kids how to play better defense when they listen. You know, he learned from Roberson. He was down in the blue, and Roberson taught him the defense. He brought it up to the league, and now he's teaching the guys that he plays with. So I think it's just a ball rolling downhill with that.
Good point. And I can also see Jay Will like stepping into that position also.
Yeah, I agree. All right, here's a question from Joey. Joey has a question about Poku. When he's playing well, do you ever see glimpses of the modern Tony Kukoc? What do you guys think?
I hadn't until you mentioned it, Joey, but now that you did, I'm going to think about it, and I think I could see that. That's dope.
Not like deadlift shrimp.
Oh, old Seattle Supersonic.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I like any of those type of old guys that you can throw out there, man. Hell yeah, dude.
What was it about Poku's game before he got hurt that was so incredible? It was just he finally figured out how to play. Go ahead, Jared.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it was his defense.
And his fluidity. He just was like, he just found a way to play within himself. And it was like, yeah, he would block shots fluidly. He would run the court fluidly. He stopped trying to do too many things. And then all of a sudden he was just like, it was beautiful. It was one of the best runs I've seen by a player his age. And obviously he's had trouble staying healthy, but man, I'm pumped up about getting Poku back.
They did that expose on him with the team, Royce Young on Poku.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And
I haven't seen that.
Right before he got hurt, he was playing Denver, and he locked Jokic down.
Oh, yeah.
Just completely locked him down. Jokic couldn't pass the ball. He couldn't shoot the ball. Couldn't get the three off. Couldn't drive to the lane. Nothing. And Poku said it's all the lower body strength that he built up, plus all the film and IQ that he's built up watching Jokic and the other bigs in the game.
Yeah, man. He looked awkward doing it, but he was very effective.
That's it, man.
Whatever gets the job done.
I awkward but effective. I feel like that's like my middle name. All right. Anyways, man, I really appreciate everybody. George and Jared, stay on here. We're gonna make sure we get you uploaded. But Joey, everybody else, I really appreciate Mwani, Unk, you guys stopping by. We will talk to you guys later. Tomorrow morning we'll be here at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern to watch the game. So I hope you guys join us.
Thanks, Unk. Thanks, Joey. Thanks, guys. Mwani. We still live, Dave?
Stopping slowly here. Almost.